We're going right now from Israel proper into Area A. I'm talking like Area A is the Palestinian Authority controlled area. So that's why there's this huge touch fence here, major security fence that Israel spent literally billions of dollars putting in. And now we're gonna go from Israel proper into PA, Arab so-called Palestine. Ready? No checkpoint, no border. Welcome to Palestinian Authority town, Qalqilia. Okay guys, we are on the security road between Israel, the state of Israel, and Judea and Samaria.
And as we film, there are Palestinians illegally crossing into Israel.
Obviously, we've got a major problem here because this fence, I mean, we just showed up here this morning, we heard there's problems, and indeed, there is a problem, Luke, and we don't even have to say a lot because just look yourself. We're gonna spend a little bit of time this morning. We're gonna go up and down. We're gonna see, okay, how many illegals are actually crossing? What are we gonna do? We're gonna try to talk to a few of them. You'll see how it goes.
So right now I am in what is called Israel proper, and we are right along what you call the green line that separates Judea and Samaria, what a lot of the world calls the West Bank, and the rest of Israel.
Okay guys, so I'm walking down the security road. The Arabs of the PA town of Qalqilia have absolutely destroyed the touch sensor high-tech fence and are crossing freely up in front of us here.
The Arab village of Qalqilia is known historically as a pretty violent village. 5 minutes ago, two Palestinians walked up from this village and they walked off towards the highway, which is a 5-minute walk on the other side of us.
It's almost 8 o'clock in the morning. We're gonna find somebody that speaks English, would be great. Good morning. You speak English? Going to work?
Yes.
Good, good.
They can board any Israeli bus that they want, no ID needed, and they can be in downtown Tel Aviv within 45 minutes.
Good morning. Speak English? No? Good morning.
Good morning.
Time to go to work. Hi, speak English? Great. What's happening here? Why you enter here instead of there? What's the difference? Oh, you don't have paper, so you don't have ID to enter Israel. Oh, so you come this way. Makes sense. Every day?
Yes.
Do you make more money in Israel?
Yes.
How much money do you make in it?
500.
If you were in Qalqilia, how much could you make?
100.
100 in Qalqilia,
Yes.
500 in Israel.
500 in Israel. Yes.
So everybody wants to work in Israel.
Yes.
Thank you. Good day. There you have it. Pretty wild, to say the least.
Okay, time to look at a few numbers. Ironically, more than 100,000 Palestinians from Judea and Samaria have work permits, and they come into Israel proper every single day to work in the Israeli economy. Another 35,000 Palestinians actually work in Jewish settlements in the West Bank. So you could say that the Palestinian economy and people are really being supported by Israel. We don't know exact numbers, but Israeli news networks estimate that tens of thousands of Palestinians cross illegally into Israel. One man told Josh that he could make 5 times more money working every single day in Israel than he could working in his own village.
If you want to compare the situation to what's the renowned situation that's happening in America on the American borders with Mexico, this situation per capita is far worse. That's kind of like a big wake up, but this situation that no one knows about, the whole world is just completely clueless about, is actually far worse than the situation with the Mexican-American border.
Now the big question you're all wondering is why? Why is Israel allowing this to happen? Now you asked a soldier and he said, really, I can't talk about it, right? But you have one side where Israel is not only dealing with a very liberal government mixed with an Arab Islamist government, they have to keep everybody happy, but they're also dealing with very heavy international pressure.
Yeah, and I would add to that is that they don't want to wake the lion. You know the lion? It's that any moment a third intifada could erupt. And this is like a pressure release valve that they just they're playing with it, trying to keep that lion from awakening and attacking Israel in full force.
Because if you kind of make people happy by letting them come work, and maybe, I mean, sadly, they're also letting in probably a few terrorists here and there, then maybe they can prevent a full-blown war, which would be a third intifada with mass terrorism happening all across Israel. It's not a good situation, but it's what's the reality of what's happening on the ground right now.
Okay guys, we're now entering the town of Qalqilia. You see these signs ahead are saying Area A, beware. This is Area A, big red sign. Israelis shall not enter past this point, dangerous to your lives. That's where we're headed right here. This is the town that freely enters Israel in and out whenever they want. Anybody in this town, and the really sobering news is that anybody in all of Judea and Samaria, West Bank, can enter into Israel whenever they want. Terrorist or not, smuggler or not, free open border. We just saw all that. So these are the people who have free access into Israel.
So we are in downtown Qalqilia. We've been to Nablus, we've been to Bethlehem, Josh has been to Ramallah. Qalqilia is kind of up there with those cities. You said it's how many residents?
About 50,000.
Close to 50,000 residents, known to be kind of violent in the past, I think. What were you saying about the mayor in 2006?
Yeah, well, the mayor here was a Hamas guy, so you got
a Hamas guy in an Israeli prison. So he was elected
from the prison cell.
Right,
yeah.
And served most of his term from the prison cell, right?
Exactly.
Which happens more, like you'd be surprised how much that happens.
There's also, Luke, a lot of posters around here that are all supporting terrorism and
they're the shaheeds,
the shaheeds,
posters on every block with shaheeds, which are the martyrs, which are those that commit terrorism against Israel. So, not the friendliest neighbors to their fellow Israelis. That was a PA.
That was a PA officer with a machine gun. Usually they don't have a machine gun.
My heart kind of skipped a beat because he looked like he was about to swing it up to his shoulder. So basically the big thing that we wanted you to see is this is a town where all of those illegals that you saw us show on camera are coming from. A lot of them are coming from this town right here.
A pro-terrorist town at that. That's really the point. This is a pro-terrorist town that is free access into the nation of Israel. We set out this morning, we had no idea what we'd find, and currently we're both just appalled by our findings. This is outrageous. A continual flow of illegals into the nation of Israel, and illegals that don't love Israel. These are anti-Israel, many terrorists, smugglers, you name it. This is what's entering into Israel. Sworn enemies. Guys, the international community has to wake up. Israel would not be allowing this to happen if it wasn't for the constant attack by the international community to delegitimize and to weaken Israel. We need a strong Israel. If you're a Zionist, if you believe in Israel, you believe in the cause of Israel, we've got to support Israel. Israel needs us, the international community. If we could stand up and say, we want you strong. We want you to build a secure nation. A strong Israel is literally a strong world. The terrorism that Israel's holding back from the entire world, it literally starts here. We've got to stop this terrorist machine that's happening, and Israel needs international support to do it.
Guys, let us know what you think down in the comments below. Make sure you subscribe and hit all the notification bells so you don't miss out on any of our cutting edge content that we're putting out every single week. Remember to tune out the fake news and tune into what is actually happening here in the heartland of Israel. We'll be back next week here at the Israel Guys.
Hey guys, thanks so much for watching. Go ahead and subscribe if you like that content. We can get it to you every week, right there at your fingertips. If you really liked it and have questions, anything, we love comments. Go ahead and leave us a comment as well. If you'd like to even go further, your support would be greatly appreciated. We've got lots of content, lots of ideas that we want to keep pushing out there. If you want to support, you can go to our Patreon page or check us out at theisraelguys.com.